So let's just get right into it. If your company is using AI to screen job candidates, and let's be honest, a lot of companies are, you might be sitting on a ticking time bomb and not even know it. Today, we're going to break down this huge problem that could cost you big time, and, more importantly, how you can diffuse it. Let's start with a number that should make anyone's ears perk up. $500,000. That's right, 500,000. And that's not some made-up number, it's the potential cost. You're talking legal fees, discovery, fines, the whole shebang from just one single AI discrimination complaint if you're not ready for it.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to define this massive problem. Then, we'll look at the new rules of the road that make it all so tricky. And finally, we'll walk through a solution that gives you a clear path to what's called defensibility.
Okay, section 1, the $500,000 AI problem. This is one of those classic situations where the very thing that makes you super efficient, using AI, is also creating this massive, kind of invisible risk in the background. I want you to just picture this for a second. An email from the EEOC lands in your inbox. A candidate you rejected maybe a year ago has filed a complaint. And the investigator asks you this one simple question. Seriously, what would you do? What would your answer be right now? And here's the really scary part for most businesses out there. They can't answer it. The records, they just don't exist. Your AI vendor? Nope, they don't keep them for you. Your applicant tracking system, it doesn't capture those crucial details. So when you need proof of what actually happened, you have nothing. Zero. And if you thought that was bad, let's move on, because it gets even more complicated. The new rules of hiring. This isn't just a federal thing anymore. Oh no. It's become this messy, tangled web of different state and local laws. And just look at this map, essentially. You've got New York City with its famous Local Law 144, which requires bias audits. Then you've got California, Illinois, Colorado, Maryland. All of them have their own special rules. It's not a regional problem anymore. It's a full-blown national compliance headache. So here's the hidden threat that a lot of people miss. Having a really nice policy written down in a binder on a shelf, that's totally useless in an actual investigation. Policies aren't proof. You need the technical, time-stamped audit trail, the hard evidence of what your AI actually did and when it did it. Okay, so we've laid out this pretty big, scary problem. Now what? Well, that brings us to section 3, where we're going to pivot from the problem to a potential solution. It's all about recovering that missing audit trail. So, what is something like this? Well, it's a service specifically designed to plug that documentation gap we've been talking about. It goes in, recovers, and organizes all those missing technical records. And the key benefit they're pushing here is speed. They claim they can build you a defensible record in just 48 hours. Wow. All right, but how does something like this actually work under the hood? Let's get into the mechanics. The whole model is really interesting because it seems to focus on giving you the technical expertise you need, but without creating a bunch of new data risks for your company. This is really smart. They break down their model by addressing the biggest concern right up front: data privacy. Look on the left. They make it crystal clear what they don't store. No sensitive candidate info, no resumes, nothing. Then on the right, you see what you actually get. The templates, the reports. It's way more like a consultancy than some data-hungry software, and that's a huge difference. The secret sauce behind all this is what they call an institutional memory API. Now, just think of it like a purpose-built framework. It's not some generic tool. It's designed from the ground up to capture and organize your records in the exact format you'd need to hand over to an EOC investigator. And here's where it all clicks. Remember that investigator's question from the beginning? Well, this framework is designed to map directly to it. The entire goal is to organize your messy data to clearly answer what AI was used, when were people screened, what did you tell them. It turns a chaotic scramble for evidence into a clear, defensible story. So let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. This next part is called Two Companies, Two Fates. And man, it really highlights the massive difference between being proactive versus being reactive. So let's meet our two companies. You've got the proactive company. They invest a little bit up front to get all their documentation in order before there's a problem. Then you have the reactive company. They just cross their fingers, hope for the best, and then scramble like mad to find records after that EEOC complaint shows up. And the result is, well, it's staggering. Just look at these legal fees. The proactive company with its neat and tidy defensibility binder gets the issue resolved for around 15 grand. The reactive company, with no records, they get dragged through months of discovery, costing them $275,000 in legal fees alone. I mean, this visual, it tells the whole story, doesn't it? So let's boil all this down to the final section, the bottom line. At the end of the day, it's all about one word: defensibility. It's about having a clear, actionable path to protect your company. So what does something like this cost? Looking at their model, they offered tiered packages. It starts with a basic gap assessment and goes all the way up to a premium package that includes that crazy fast 48-hour delivery, which you have to imagine is aimed at companies already in the middle of a crisis. It gives you a pretty good idea of how these solutions are priced. So what's the real pitch here? What's the core value? This really sums it up. It looks like it boils down to a few key things. You get speed, you get specialized expertise, and there's no vendor lock-in, which is huge. That zero data storage model is a massive privacy win. And they draw a very clear line in the sand. They're technical experts providing the evidence, not lawyers building the legal case. And really, it all comes back to this one quote: having that defensible audit trail. That's the difference. It separates a manageable $15,000 legal bill from a catastrophic $500,000 settlement. And that really just leaves us all with one final crucial question to think about. It's not really a matter of if a complaint will ever arrive, it's probably more a matter of when. So when it does, will your company actually be ready? Because let's be real, the absolute worst time to find out you need this documentation is after the investigator is already on the phone asking for it. You don't want to wait for that crisis. So if this is a risk that sounds familiar, you can find out more at defensiblehiringai.com.